Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, as we have for you the LAKC semifinals here for you tonight. I am Rob McCarthy, joined by Jack Mahoney, and as you can see behind us, the players of Rockhurst and Pembroke are starting to warm up, and boy, do we have a game for you guys tonight.
We got two perennial powers, two teams that have been here many times before. Looking at the Rockhurst helmet here on the table, you can see these teams have been around for a long time. Both of them no stranger to being in the Final Four. And we got some great one-on-one matchups throughout the game. So what do you got?
Well, let's see here. So Rockhurst was 12-1 on the season, and Pembroke was 10-3. Both Rockhurst finishing in that second seed and Pembroke coming in the third, both winning those quarterfinal games. How do you think Rockhurst's season went and how they got to this point?
I think those records are a little bit deceptive because I would say between the 2 to 6 range of teams, every team was pretty even, and Rockhurst just won a couple more close games, but I think those 2 and 3 seeds could easily have been switched. Mm-hmm. And in addition, both these teams, Pembroke came off a hard game against us last week, I would say. They only won by 3 goals. But Rockhurst had a pretty easy walk here, beating BV Eastside 11-1. Mm-hmm. And so I think you see two teams that are going to be pretty evenly matched, although they play a very different style of game. Pembroke's going to try and move the ball through Jack Staker and attack one-on-one dodges. And Rockhurst doesn't really have that number one scorer. They're going to try and move the ball around and get a lot of people involved in the offense. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, Rockhurst and Pembroke are both programs that have been here before multiple times in the past. And it's funny because they are two different kind of they have different styles of play. Rockhurst are definitely bigger, bigger athletes. But Pembroke has a little bit of smaller guys, but they're very fast as well. So they like to attack the cage quick and fast, and especially with those shifty attackmen that got down there. So I think it's going to be a really exciting game we got here tonight, followed by the Shawnee Mission East and Northland game for the second semifinal game tonight. So it's going to be a real fun one. So, yeah. So, looking out to the players, we got a little bit of drizzle here tonight with the rain, but we're about 3 minutes away from the introductions of the players coming in here. But they're just finishing up their warm-ups right now and just locking it in. So,
let me tell you, emotions are high. Both teams got pretty hyped up when they ran next to each other in the opening little half laps they took. I think both these teams are ready to play. It's going to be a fun one tonight for sure.
Yeah, and we're here at UMKC. We have a beautiful venue here tonight. And the playoffs for the LAKC have been hosted here, I believe, since 2013 was the first year we had it here, in 2019. So here we are about 7 years later, still hosting at a great venue. So we're in store for a really good one tonight. Hopefully we can get the weather to stay off, and hopefully there's no thunder or lightning to delay this game whatsoever. So we'll see how it plays out, but we got some fans rolling in right now in the stadium, family and friends, everyone come in to see their friends and their sons play the great game tonight. So let's talk a little bit more about Pembroke. So their record was 10-3. They had some close games. What do you think is something or a player that needs to stand out tonight in order to secure a victory?
I think everyone's going to be looking at Jack Staker, obviously. You see him on screen right here as they do their 2v3s. But someone who's going to really have to step up is sophomore Hank Newell. And he's going to be dodging from the right-hand side up top all game. And with Tommy Eccles, who's traditionally an LSM for Rockhurst, moving down to play defense. Like we talked to Coach Tim Reedy last night. He said that Tommy Eccles was going to be guarding Staker all night. And if Tommy's down at close defense, their LSM is going to have to step up to guard Hank Newell, who has one of the best shots in the league on the wing. So I think that's a huge thing that we need to look at. Obviously, that matchup between the two All-Americans, Tommy Eccles, Jack Staker, is one to watch all night. That is two of the probably top 5 players in the league who are going to be one-on-one the entire night. I think Rockhurst is going to look to try and not even let Staker catch the ball, try and lock him off a little bit. I heard from a couple of people around the league that they were going to even go 2-on-3 for fast breaks instead of playing the traditional 3v4, just so that Jack Staker can't touch the ball. Pembroke's really good at feeding the crease. They don't get a lot of traditional goals off of other players, but they'll really get around crease, pick up garbage shots. I think that that's a key to their game is just if balls are popping around, Rockhurst needs to get it away from the crease because they have a lot of, like we talked about earlier, their kids are small, but they'll find in these little gaps to get open and just kind of get good shots off. For Rockhurst, Tim Reedy loves to just hold the ball, especially with Air Force commit Mason Vasta out, but I think they can explore some matchups that they explored last game. Two of their attackmen last game had 3 goals each, and those players are both playing now. Crosby Gasaway, Blake Hager, both seniors starting attackmen. They're going to have to step up huge for Rockhurst if they want to win tonight. Also, I would look to Rockhurst as kind of assert their size at the midfield, just because they have a lot of bigger players. They can kind of overpower some of the defensive middies for Pembroke. So I'd say those are the 2 biggest keys for scoring for both teams.
As we see right there, the captains of the teams are both meeting up to line up and wish each other good luck in this next big battle coming up tonight. So personally, I believe that these teams are both physical and they both play very fast. I like to think that the team that limits their turnovers on the offensive side and as well as on the clearing side is going to end up getting that win tonight. So I believe that the turnover game is going to be huge to look into, winning the ground ball battle, and whoever is going to win the ground ball battle is going to end up getting those extra possessions, which are going to turn out to be key in the second part of that game. And whoever's going to play the most team ball, whoever's going to be unselfish and share the ball around, spread the wealth, as they say, and lock it in. So
all right, we're going to catch you up in the booth after and kind of introduce the starting lineups. Thank you for watching.
Yep, we'll be right back. And we are back. The teams are warming up right now, getting their 4v3 drills in. Usually that's the last drill that teams will run in the pregame right before they get out. And, man, I'm just so pumped. We got a really good game going on tonight, and then followed up by another good game with Shawnee Mission East, who's just been a powerhouse for so many years.
Another matchup we didn't really talk about outside, but something really important that we're about to see is going to be the face-off game. And Pembroke Hill has a third-team All-Metro face-off guy coming out. So I think they're going to dominate early on the face-off. So I'm interested to see kind of what Coach Reedy has cooked up to counteract that.
And we just got word a few minutes ago that the favorite is Rockhurst, but the line from Vegas apparently is 3 3 points for Rockhurst. So Rockhurst coming in as a favorite, wearing the home whites, and Pembroke will be rocking the red jerseys with the gray shorts. So they are just both finishing up their warm-ups right now. Rockhurst is going back to their sideline, and we will be getting into introductions here pretty soon.
Something else we got to look at is going to be the goalie matchup. And Spencer, his nickname is Red Perrin for Pembroke, hasn't had the best year, but he's grown progressively throughout the season as a sophomore would. But Michael Kuklinski for Rockhurst is one of the top 3 goalies in the league. He was in the conversation for first team All-Metro. He ended up getting 3rd, but I think those goalies, I think for Pembroke to win, Red is really going to have to step up and kind of play to his potential, not just the sophomore he is, kind of play to that higher level.
Mm-hmm. And to note as well, I mean, it is a little bit wet outside. The rain has kind of been off and on over the last few hours, but it'll be interesting to see how the players do adjust to maybe the balls become a little bit more slicker, as well as maybe those bounce shots where you're throwing that ball straight at the ground might be slide more, and it will be tougher for those goalies to see in general where that ball is coming into the net.
Looks like the teams are breaking apart to do the national anthem, I believe. Oh, we're going to do the starting lineup real quick.
Good afternoon and welcome to Durwood Stadium on the campus of UMKC for the 2019 LAKC Semifinal games. Our first game tonight features the number 2 seed, Rockhurst, with a record of 12-1 versus third place Pembroke with a record of 10-3. We'll announce the Pembroke players first. Starters will be last. Number 2, Stuart Yontis. Number 7, senior Robbie Arnold. Number 8, sophomore Grant Luczynski. Junior number 12, Nick Schmidt. Junior number 13, Matthew Park. Freshman number 4. Let's see. Junior, number 15, Spencer Sabatez. Freshman, number 16, Cole Jack Garrett. Freshman, number 17, Jack Embry. Freshman, number 18, Owen Kessler. Senior, number 19, Cap McCliney. Senior, number 21, Shahim Shadaz. Freshman, number 24, Andrew McCliney. Sophomore, number 25, Hank Newell. Senior, number
Check.
Senior number 27, Liam Kortzinger. Senior number 29, Will Yontis. Sophomore number 32, Alex Coleman. Sophomore number 33, David Dircher. Senior number 44, Joe Graves. Freshman number 45, Blake Johnston. And now our starters for Pembroke Hill. At attack, junior number 3, Max Arnold. Senior number 22, Jack Staker. Junior number 50, Peter Burdett. In midfield, senior number 10, George Embry. At long stick midi, junior number 34, Finney Sachs. At faceoff, senior number 35, Will Carolyn. On defense, junior number 9, Patrick Coomer. On defense, senior number 5, Nathan Berwin. Senior number 12, 4, Quinn Brandmeier. And a goalie, sophomore number 11, Spencer Perrin. The coaches for Pembroke Hill, head coach Dave Colbert. Assistants Noah Leibel, John Webster, Jack Ramza, and Andy Gustafson. And now for our Rockhurst Hawklets. Junior number 1, Mason Vasta. Senior number 5, Nick Gleason. Senior number 7, Colin McCann. Senior number 9, Sebastian Barrett. Sophomore number 11, Fisher Roy. Senior number 12, Christopher Angles. Senior number 13, Aiden Lee. Junior number 14, Griffin Lanning. Junior number 15, Brendan Brewster. Junior number 17, Slayton Smith. Senior number 18, Sam Robertson. Senior number 20, Luke Looney. Senior number 21, Jeff Keller. Senior number 22, Sam Colligan. Senior number 23, Dan Hake. Senior number 25, James Rebine. Senior number 27, Griffin Goss. Junior number 28, Simon Williams. Senior number 29, John Thurlow. Sophomore number 30, Jack Scanlon. Junior number 31, Dominic Monteleone. Junior number 35, Alex Danzo. And now for the starting lineup of the Rockhurst Hawklets. At attack, senior number 2, Max Terrell. Senior number 6 at attack, Blake Hager. Senior number 8, Crosby Gassaway. At midfield, junior number 10, Max Williams. At midfield, junior number 16, Michael Knowlton. In midfield, senior number 3, William Muehlbach. On defense, senior number 4, Bobby Freschel. Senior number 19, Carter Elder. Junior number 24, Tommy Eccles. And at goal, junior number 34, Michael Kuklinski. The coaching staff for Rockhurst, head coach Tim Reedy, Mark Bahale, Joe Vasta, Tim Hannon, Clayton Milrose, Jim Gilchrist, and Jason Brown. If we could get everybody to remove their hats and rise for the national anthem.
And we will be right back for the start of the game. And we are back. Well, Jack, the national anthem has been sung. The game is about to start. How excited are you?
I'm pumped. This is one of the biggest games. I'm just really looking forward to the matchup between these two. I honestly have no idea who's going to win this game or how it's even going to play out. The next game I have a little premonition about a dominant Shawnee Mission East team, but these two teams are so even. I'm really excited to see the battle between these two historic programs.
And it's worth noting as well that you just finished up your high school lacrosse career at Blue Valley West, and you guys weren't able to make it to the Final Four this year, but you guys had a really good year, and individually you had a great year yourself as well.
Yeah, I wish I could be playing down there right now instead of Pembroke or instead of announcing, but Pembroke's a really strong team, and they're really well coached. Up and down, they've just got some absolute studs. If we look at their defense, they're towering over the Rockhurst attack line. I think it's going to be a really good game, physical game.
Yeah. As it's starting lineups for Pembroke and Rockhurst stand across from each other. The refs introduce the goalies, run to their respective cages. A little handshake. And here we go.
First matchup that I'm looking at is at the face-off X. Senior William Mielbach, who Tim Reedy told us last night was just an all-around stud. He might not get the goals, might not get the assists, but every ground ball he's going to be in on. He's going to be playing defense. He's going to be playing offense. He plays a huge role in this Rockhurst team, even taking face-offs.
Facing off for Pembroke, Will Carolyn.
And as the ref is about to set the ball down for the face-off, we are just about to get started.
Will Carolyn wins the opening draw. There's Mielbach on the ground ball.
And Rockhurst gets his first possession. And I think that they really got to value the ball here and test their matchups. Really getting pressed out here by
Patrick Coomer pressing out on Crosby Gasaway. And last game, Pembroke actually had Quinn Brandmeier on Crosby Gasaway. So it looks like they're going to put Brandmeier on number 2 back there. Max Terrell.
Rockhurst carrying the ball up the wing.
Interesting strategy from Colbert. It looks like Pembroke was initially trying to lock number 16, Michael Knowlton.
Looks like he's got the ball here. Oh, a little shimmy. But Pembroke really tested their matchups there on the defensive side. Pressuring in, feed inside, shot,
Michael
score!
Knowlton, goal!
Rockhurst goal by number 16, Michael Knowlton.
Michael Knowlton with the goal to start off Rockhurst. 1-0, 10:43 in the first quarter. Man, that's a good start for Rockhurst.
Just like a little confusion from the Pembroke defense. No 2-slide help up top. Michael Knowlton with a nice face dodge, put it in the back of the net.
That's a great heads-up play, too, to feed that inside and just keep carrying the ball down and just bury it down low.
Mielbach and Carolyn facing off.
Little scrum after the first face-off, and
Will Carolyn
Pembroke will get their
the
first
ball.
possession. Carrying the ball down to X, little flip play, and they will effectively start their first possession of the game.
And here's Peter Burdett.
Oh,
Open shot.
oh, great
Saved by
save.
Kukulinski.
Race to where the ball was out on the end line.
Calling Pembroke ball.
Quick restart.
And this is attackman.
Oh, great feed inside. Just hit a little bit of the pipe. And he might be still open up, and they're pushing. And
Peter
shot.
Burdett with the shot.
Unassisted goal by number 50, Peter Burdett.
Ooh, that's a great placement of a shot for Peter right there. Low and away.
Kind of what we were talking about earlier, those garbage goals. Peter Burt with the heads-up play coming down and going high to low. Rip.
Stick side low there. Well, we're 2 minutes into the game. We've got a lot of action. Looks like the offense it's going to be an offensive powerhouse of a game.
I know, kind of coming into this, I thought it was going to be a defensive battle, but both teams kind of are already preying on weaker matchups on short stick defense. Looks like a hold call against Pembroke. It's going to be Rockhurst ball.
And Rockhurst will get their second possession of the game.
Neilbach gets a touch.
Rockhurst gets their offensive middies on the field. And they will start to spin the ball.
Michael Knowlton, who just scored, looks like he's testing a little.
Ooh, feet across the crease.
Quinn Brandmeier, first team All-Metro, gets a stick on it and looks like Pembroke is going to have a fast break situation.
Ooh. Just a little careless with the ball, threw it a little way. And Rockhurst will get the ball right back, starting behind their net.
There's All-American Tommy Eccles. Early on, it looks like Rockhurst is trying to work a two-man between their middies and their attackmen. And 2 times they've had pretty open passes off of a little bit of a slip off the pick.
Rockhurst finally gets the ball behind X.
Crosby Gasaway dodges and scores.
Showing a little emotion too. Let's go.
Crosby Gasaway. We talked about it earlier. He had 3 goals in the first game. Kind of comes around, just smokes his man 1-1.
Took his man behind X. Got a nice hard dodge. That slide by Pembroke was just a little bit late, just giving him just enough time.
And looks like it's starting to rain a little bit more. Carolyn wins the face-off clean. Oh, shoots high. And again, we kind of saw what we talked about earlier. It looks like Tommy Eccles did not slide traditionally, which they usually do. Start a 3v4, but they did a 2v3 slides.
Pembroke carrying the ball up top. Moving it down to the wing. Ooh, ball loose on the ground.
Oh,
Ooh.
Big hit.
Push from behind, Pembroke ball.
Push from behind, and it's going to stay with Pembroke.
Huge hit by number 25 for Pembroke, Hank Newell.
Pembroke gets inside, shot, save!
Save by Michael Kuklinski.
Kuklinski made a couple big saves early, and it looks like he's pretty comfortable out there already.
Here comes Eccles down the field with the feet of the attack. Oh, shot scored.
Rockhurst goal by number 2, Max Terrell.
Max Terrell from the feed by All-American Tommy Eccles. Tommy just bullied his way through 3 Pembroke players there and made a nice pass to Max Terrell. Finished it high, lefty.
Almost like a one-man clear there, getting the ball all the way into the box. And a solid feed, way to keep his head up and look for that extra pass for the doorstep goal. Forcing Pembroke to call a timeout.
Left in the first quarter.
Rockhurst up 3-1 with 7:32 in the first quarter, and they seemed like they got some of the momentum going for themselves early on.
So far, it just seems Pembroke's passes are just a little off. Kind of what we talked about earlier, what you mentioned, it was just a couple extra turnovers that have stopped them from being able to score, and Kuklinski making a couple big saves.
And I'm sure some of these players might be a little bit nervous playing on a bigger stage, playing in the semifinals. But you know what? You're about almost 5 minutes in. You got to get some of those jitters out. Maybe it's 1 or 2 mistakes, but at the end of the day, you know, you got to get them out. But you got to start playing here hard before Rockhurst kind of turns this out of control.
The good news for Pembroke is they've pretty much won the last 2 or 3 face-offs. So they're going to get the possessions. It's just about kind of settling the ball down, even though Rockhurst is pressing out very far. And they've got high-quality shots, but they just haven't been able to finish them. I think they should kind of go more to that bounce shot route, what we were talking about. It's just easier to on that wet ground for it to kind of bounce different ways.
Yeah, and the rain is continuing to come down here. And for those offensive players, that rain can be definitely used as an advantage to them when they shoot either overhand or sidearm and use the ground and bounce the ball into the net. The ball will tend to slide more or skip when it hits the ground, making it a lot more tougher for those goaltenders to track the ball.
Will Carolyn facing off with Pembroke. Will Mielbach for Rockhurst.
Mielbach versus Carolyn once again. Carolyn wins the draw, but Mielbach.
Loose ball. Coming close to the restraining box.
And it looks like Pembroke left, but no call.
Possession wasn't called, but Rockhurst will get the ball.
Crosby Gasaway already has 1 goal. Has pretty much early on for Rockhurst kind of just slowed everything down. Got all of his substitutions on. And now we see the size of the Rockhurst midfielders. There's Jeff Keller up top, number 21.
It's definitely a strong strategy by Coach Reed to get their face-off guys and the wing guys right after winning the face-off off the field and getting all 3 of their old middies on to make sure they got all 6 of their guys and all the personnel on before they start getting into their dodges.
Looks like Crosby Gasaway wants this matchup again.
Coomer playing good D down there at X. The Rockers being methodical and being patient on offense.
Again, looking at that 2-man game.
Feet inside, shot just over the.
21, Jeff Keller.
Great hustle though by the goalkeeper there. And the ref will give him a few seconds to get back in the net. And Crosby again at X.
Goes for the inside roll. Good defense by Coomer.
This is definitely going to be a matchup that we're going to keep our eyes on all game long. Oh, gets his stick kind of jammed in the hand. Shot just over the top. Possession will stay with Rockers. And the rain continues to come down.
Quick restart. Here's first team All-Metro, Quinn Brandmeier. Absolutely hammering. It looks like Max Terrell. And there we see a turnover by Rockhurst.
And you might not be able to see it on the stream, but the rain is just continues to get harder and harder coming down as Rockhurst clears the ball.
And we see a little bit of the passes going a little wonky as the pockets start to get wet.
Oh,
what
Eccles
a check
with the
by
little
Tommy
poke.
Eccles. And Pembroke did not get a touch in the box, so it's going to be a turnover. They have 10 seconds to get it into the box from the midfield. They did not do that because of the pressure by Tommy Eccles.
Rockhurst pushing the ball down the field. Transition. Ooh, shot just over the crossbar.
Shot by number 19,
Carter Elder.
Crosby's going to test his matchup again.
This is Blake Hager.
Oh. Blake with the roll. And they're going to move it back up top, and they're going to just take their time, make sure they got all their personnel, and then test the right matchup, and here we go.
Michael Nolan once again. Or maybe not.
And you can see that's the discipline. You can almost tell that the coach is in his ear saying, you know, when to go, when not to go. And they got the 2 short sticks up top right now with the short stick D mids. A little 2-man pick play. Good defense, though, by Pembroke. Feed inside. Shot wide.
Shot by number 10, Max Williams.
So early on, it looks like Rockhurst is employing a 2-man game from up top and having cutters come across the crease, and they're looking to feed those guys inside. And that time, Coomer gets a takeaway check. Bearwin with the ground ball.
Oh, clears it up the middle. Pembroke about to pick it up just near the midline. Ball is still loose.
Tommy Eccles with the ground ball.
Feed inside. And Pembroke will regain the ball, give it back to the keeper, and start the clear all over again.
This is Quinn Brandmeier, who is, from personal experience, one of the hardest people to guard on a clear.
Turnover, though, by Pembroke. They had a few numbers, but they're going to decide to pull it out. Ooh, no one covering. Shot was blocked.
Ball still on the ground. Do we have a flag down? Looks like we do have a flag.
Flag down.
So Rockhurst will go in the man up here with about 3 minutes into the first, or 3 minutes left in the first quarter, up 3-1. And you got to think some of these Rockhurst guys just have some cannons to shoot from the outside. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of their looks are going to go to the inside crease, but if they're not going to play them outside, they'll test the goalie from 14, 15 out, you know.
And again, we kind of seen the discipline earlier from Rockhurst, so they're definitely going to try and move the ball around, force them to make the mistakes. Pembroke to have to rotate so they can get their good shot.
Yeah, 30-second penalty, offsides on Pembroke.
Just a technical penalty on Pembroke, 30 seconds for offsides.
So it will be a 6-on-5 for about 30 seconds for Rockhurst. The ball will stop.
Oh, they got 2 penalties. They called a push as well, so it's going to be 6-on-4. Quinn Brandmeier with a penalty as well.
So Rockhurst with the opportunity to capitalize on these penalties and make it a 4-1 game. Push it behind X. Oh, shot just a little bit wide. Back up by Crosby.
If you're Pembroke, that's the shot you want. Goalie has a good look at it a little farther out, especially if you're in 6v4.
Now this could be a big momentum swing if Pembroke can kill this penalty and get all their guys back on.
I believe it's only 30 seconds, so.
Solid bounce shot. Race to the end line. It's going to stay with Rockhurst.
And Pembroke's fans are not happy about that call.
It was certainly a close one as we get a stoppage here. Looks like they're trying to fix the net. We're all good.
Crosby Axel pushing from X. And here comes Pembroke.
Ooh, shot wide, and it is even.
And Pembroke with a
again.
Huge
kill.
So you're all even.
This is big. Now, Rockhurst has felt like they've been on offense for the last minute and a half, gotten some solid looks, just haven't converted yet.
See if they go back to the two-man or if they try a one-on-one dodge with Michael Knowlton right here.
Little hezzy move, moving it back up top with the rollback. And we got a matchup here with the short stick D-mid. Good switch by Pembroke and a little poke check to get the ball away. Regained possession by Rockhurst. Dodging on the pole here. Draws a couple of slides. Keeping with the ball, now moving it. And it looks like it's going to be a forced turnover. Great stand here on defense by Pembroke. That's really what they needed in order to get back into this game, and they're going to need to convert here, hopefully in the next minute and a half before the quarter ends.
So we started off pretty fast, a lot of goals, but it seemed to slow down a little bit as we kind of settle into this game.
Pembroke looking to clear up the side.
Ward. Great ride by Rockhurst. Crosby Gasway drives to the Ward. Another possession.
And I'd like to think that Rockhurst will hold this ball and try and get this last shot of this quarter, not giving Pembroke the ability to go back down and get another opportunity to score. From the very first whistle of this game, you could tell that Rockhurst is stuck to their game plan of just holding the ball, methodically moving it, and testing the right matchups, getting those short stick D middies. Oh!
Great check by Nathan Bearwen.
Moves it to the keeper, pushing it up the box side of the field, looking for somewhere to clear, going back, and clearing it all the way down the field. It looks like it's going to go out of bounds with about 17 seconds.
Rockhurst is going to try and clear it quick.
10 seconds left. Rockhurst regains possession. Pembroke gets a little turnover.
That's going to be the end of the first quarter.
Well, at the end of the first quarter, we have Rockhurst up 3-1 on Pembroke. And Rockhurst has certainly had a certain amount of domination in this quarter of just hold the ball on offense and doing what they can well. So we will go right back. We'll come right back, and we will go to break. And we are back for the beginning of the second quarter as the coaches bring it up. And what do you think that Coach Colbert is talking to their team about right now, being down 3-1 in this first quarter?
I think that the biggest thing is just discipline. They've got beat on passes to the middle off of one slide. They've just had overthrown balls, failed clears. I think Colbert's just telling his boys to slow it down and kind of let the game work its way out, kind of get those passes on target. Because when they've had possession, they've had good shots. And at the end of the day, even though Rockhurst is kind of dominated early, they're only down by 2. So I think that's pretty big for Pembroke. Rockhurst, more of the same. Keep holding the ball. Don't let them get possession. And be aggressive on some of the weaker Pembroke offensive players.
Yeah, Pembroke certainly needs to find a way to get past that Rockhurst ride and clear the ball and get the ball down to their attackmen. We will bring in Pat McCarthy here for some analysis as well. Pat, what are you thinking about the game so far?
Well, guys, what I've noticed so far is Pembroke is having a lot of trouble clearing. We've already talked about it. There's too much individual play going on in their clear right now. They need to slow it down, set up a clear. and make sure they can get it over the midfield line and into the box, because if you can't do that, you're not going to play any offense. And that's the way you score goals.
Absolutely.
This is a huge phase-off for Pembroke here. I think the last time they had possession of the ball on their side, actual possession, was 5 or 6 minutes left in the first quarter. And Will Carolyn wins this one pretty clean.
Huge win for Pembroke.
Oh, brings it down. Oh, passes the ball off. Might have had an opportunity to shoot there.
Probably should have taken it there. But they'll have a chance to possess the ball and get a good possession out of it.
Now, Pembroke wants to play their own style of game for sure, and if it's fast, it's fast. But at the same time, they want to give their defense a little bit of a break too. So they don't want to get too far away from what their game plan is and what their identity is as a team and an offense. But they want to make sure that they're getting all they can out of those possessions.
And something we see here is 24 All-American Tommy Eccles is completely locking fellow All-American 22 Jack Staker for Pembroke.
So the teams are essentially playing 5-on-5 as Pembroke picks the ball back up and moves it up top.
Jack Staker is setting picks, just trying to get open.
Trail check by Rockhurst, picks it up.
And that's Bobby Freschel with the takeaway check right there.
Turn over the middle of the field. Pembroke will get the ball back.
And Staker has the ball.
It's going to be really important that Pembroke makes sure they get a good possession out of this, set something up.
And Staker pressing.
He's going to use this possession at the best he can. He knows he's not going to get that many touches when it comes to him being locked off. So whenever he gets the ball, he has to make the most out of it.
Max Arnold pressing. Here's sophomore Hank Newell.
Shot save. Stick side high with a little bit of a rebound, but the ball gets back to the keeper and they will push it up for the clear.
And there's Mielbach again on the clear.
Pembroke doing a great job there, getting inside out first and getting in to make sure that there's no numbers or transition for Rockhurst as they will set up their offense again. And probably pass around for a little bit and find where those short stick matchups are. And we got one right here up top. Little two-man game there, moving pick.
Moving pick.
And Pembroke's going to get the ball right back.
Illegal screen, Pembroke ball.
Here's Quinn Brandmeier trying to clear again.
Getting the ball over midline. With the head of steam, he has an
No
open
one
look
on
to the
him.
net. Ooh.
Oh, ball comes out.
Little shimmy move right there to get to the right of the defender, but just loses the ball.
Unfortunate mishandling of the ball.
And Rockhurst is going to take a timeout, set up a clear.
Now, something that I've been noticing about Pembroke is now they've been struggling on the clear. What they're also doing is they're bringing, I believe it's about 2 of their short stick D-mids or their midfielders to the box, and additionally their LSM or their pole. So right when they get possession, they're bringing 3 of their 6 guys available on that side of the field to the box, which might be part of the problem as to why they're having trouble clearing the ball, is because, well, they only have 3 guys for about 5-10 seconds that can really pass the ball and move it upfield until they get their guys that they want on the field for offense.
And last night, we heard Coach Colbert of Pembroke talking, and he said whoever we saw on defensive midi, this is probably their first year playing. And so the stick skills aren't going to be as high as someone who has been playing offensive midi and has been playing for many more years. So that's why they have to do those full subs. It's just they, again, don't have the numbers. Pembroke didn't have a JV team this year. They have a lot of football athletes, but those people are good D-middies with not the best stick skills.
And if you're Rockhurst, you got to think it's just more of the same, right, Pat? I mean, they're doing a good job when they get the ball on offense, and you know they're very methodical in what they're doing and testing their matchups. But they're definitely looking for those short stick middies to dodge on. But they're patient with the ball, and they're kind of forcing Pembroke to come to them instead of attacking them.
Oh, 100%. With an early lead like this, Rockhurst is going to try and slow it down, get long possessions, really wear out this Pembroke defense. But if they get a good look, they're going to take it in a shorty.
8:58, the second quarter. Rockhurst still up 3-1 on Pembroke, and Rockhurst will start with the ball here.
It's like top left of the box. Tommy Eccles is going to start with the ball.
Eccles running up with a full head of force. And
the
Loses
ball
the
pops
ball.
out.
great ride by Pembroke. Now there's going to be a little bit of chaos by the box area.
Excellent job.
The ref's going to pull it back. Not the quick restart that Pembroke wanted.
Giving Rockhurst the opportunity to get a little bit of ride here by their attackmen. One man clear, gets it over midline. As Pembroke is clear to push, and there's a flag
Jack
down.
Staker drops the ball, and
Still no possession yet. Once Rockhurst gets it, there will be a
It looks like there's going to be a flag
plays
down.
stop. There are
Two
three
flags down.
flags.
Down, all over the field.
So it looks like Pembroke might get the opportunity now to what Rockhurst got in the first quarter for a 6v4, a two-man up. And if they're looking for kind of any momentum to get back into this game here early on, they're going to need to convert here just for one goal if possible.
Just waiting to see what the call was.
Not sure if we're going to get the call, but it's going to be only one man up for Pembroke, 6v5.
And Rockhurst has one of the best man down units in the league by far. Super disciplined, just like they play on all sides of the ball. They're really good at kind of sticking to their spots. Great save by Kuklinski on Jack Staker.
Rockhurst looking to clear the ball here, man down. Eccles just pushing up, getting the ball to the attack.
Blake Hager is going to slow it down and kill this penalty. Early story for the game is just Michael Kuklinski standing on his head, making a ton of huge saves for Rockhurst. Rockhurst slowing it down once again.
Taking their time. Looks like they're still looking for that short stick deep midi matchup. Crosby at X. Looks like he's about to test the defender, pushing up. Hands got a little tangled.
Ball
and
is
looked to pass the
lost.
ball. Ball's loose on the ground. And Rockets will
ground
regain
ball.
possession. Feeding it to the crease. Ball pops up in the air. And a flag down will be on a check.
It looked like he hit hands there, but maybe it just clipped the helmet on the way down. And that's first team All-Metro player Quinn Brandmeier. And this is
Pembroke.
Blake Hager, senior attackman, who has a short stick at X. He's going to definitely attack this matchup.
Great jam there by the defender. But it looks like there's a decent amount of stick swinging out there on defense. And if
Pembroke
they're-
is extremely aggressive on checks. I have bruises from last Wednesday to tell the tale of how aggressive they really are.
Well, it can be a double-edged sword because it can end up paying off, or they can end up in the box as Rockhurst looks to get to the net. And they'll push the ball behind X. The flag is still down. Feet of the crease. Oh, just over the top of the stick.
And with that over and back, which is going to end the possession, and we're going to get a slash call, I believe, on Quinn Brandmeier.
So the rain has stopped. The sun looks like it is starting to come back out again, and we will get a man up here for Rockhurst with 5:48 left in the second.
Pembroke, number 44, slash, 1 minute.
And again, this whole second quarter, no goals yet. Kind of settling back into the game we thought it was going to be, which was a defensive battle. And the turnovers are the only reason I think Rockhurst has the upper hand right now. It's just they've had more possession. They've had longer possessions. Pembroke's defense wearing down. That's where the penalties start to come in.
And Pembroke's had a good number of looks, too. They had a shot that went just off the post, and they had a couple looks that could have been.
Mielbach with the shot and score from up top.
Rockhurst making it 4-1 as the players are pumped up as they take a 3-goal lead.
Late rotation there on the man down is costly for Pembroke as they get in a quick goal on the man up.
That kind of comes in with Pembroke not having a lot of guys when you really have only a select group of poles that you're really comfortable playing. It's just difficult when your all-Metro first-teamer gets that penalty because usually he's going to be the one communicating on man down, kind of making sure the defense is rotating. So when he's out, someone has to step up, and that time no one rotated. The Mielbach who just, again, discipline, high to low, snipe.
As the face-off turns into another scrum, we're going to get a whistle here. Looks like it's going to be a push on Rockhurst. It's going to become Pembroke ball.
And to counteract this locking off, Jack Staker is going to start with the ball.
Pembroke looks to get their guys on the field as they test the goalie. Shot low and away, just a little bit wide. It's going to stay possession with Pembroke.
Jack Staker, even when someone is draped all over him, is incredible at getting his hands free and getting a good shot in any situation.
Pembroke looking here to set up their offense, and they really need to get a goal here. Oh, and they draw a flag. So maybe
Second flag on the field now.
2 flags down.
And a whistle.
So in high school, if there's 2 flags, that's automatic whistle blow the play dead. So Colin McCann's going to get the first penalty for a slash.
looks like 2 slashes.
2 slashes on him.
So if that's the same player, he'll be in the box locked in for 2 minutes.
We have 2 slashes. Pembroke will be up for 2 minutes.
And I think that's a little bit of the nerves too. As defensive players, I completely understand kind of just going for the bigger check early.
Pembroke has 2 minutes here on the man up, and you better believe they want to take as much time as they can to set up their man up, get the plays going. So the last thing they want to do is be up with the man up for 2 minutes and give the ball right back to Rockhurst.
Look for number 50, Peter Burdett, who's going to want to shoot.
Great coverage by Rockhurst. That goes pushing him. And that look is going to
That'll
be
be
a push
another
from
whistle.
behind without possession, giving the ball right back to Pembroke.
Push, Pembroke ball.
Pembroke moving the ball up top. Feed across, skip. Shot wide right.
Shot by Peter Burdett.
And that's Peter Burdett. And that's what Pembroke's going to have to do to beat this man up. They're going to have to do skip passes because Rockhurst is playing all the adjacent passes really man on, which is untraditional.
Shot from up top, about 16 out. Bounce shot over the cage.
Looks like a timeout.
That was one of the few bounce shots we've seen today, but if you ask anyone that knows the game, bounce shots are the hardest shots for goalies to stop, for making them have to drop their body and their stick all the way down and then bringing it back up top. And even though the rain stopped here today, the turf will still be a little wet. So if players can utilize that ground, maybe shooting it at 3/4 or even maybe a little bit of a sidearm, they can really get that ball to skip, and it's really hard for those goaltenders to see.
Oh. It looks like a lightning delay, which is going to be a 30-minute delay, I believe. So we're going to go to commercial, and we'll come back when the game is ready to come back on.
And we are back. Unfortunately, we are in a lightning delay right now, but we still got some coverage. We're still here. We're still in the booth.
The boys are still in the booth.
Yes. Yes, so
the delay here is going to be at least 30 minutes. but that is at the very minimum.
So as you can see here on the radar, it looks like we have a storm pushing up just kind of close to us, and there might be a storm south of us. Geez, I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm trying to do my best here. But yeah, we're
Storm's coming up in a northeast direction. It's going to come right through where we are, so we might be in this delay a little while, but stick with us. We're going to be here.
and the rule is, I'm pretty sure with it, when it comes to weather's delay, is that there's going to be whenever there's a lightning strike within the circumference or the range of where we're playing at.
That restarts the 30 minutes.
Yes. So whenever there is one around the area, that the clock for when we can come back and start playing will be reset again. So that circumference is 3 miles. So anywhere within 3 miles, if there's a radius of some kind of lightning.
Radius, not circumference.
Radius.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't that good at math, and I thought I could be a meteorologist, but
Hey, you were better than I was.
so stay with us. We are in the second quarter. Rockhurst is up 4-1 on Pembroke, and when we have any more updates, we will let you know, but we will be back in about 15 minutes.
Welcome back, everyone, to the semifinal game. Rockhurst up 4-1 on Pembroke after a lightning delay. We're going to have 4 minutes till halftime where they'll get another break. But I wanted to ask you two, who do you think benefits more from this break? Both teams went back to the locker room, had some time to chill out. Who do you think benefits more from that?
Well, of the little scoring we've seen so far in this first half, Rockhurst definitely has had the momentum, which I think gives Pembroke a little bit more of an advantage with the lightning delay. Because Rockhurst, there's not a whole lot of adjustments they make, Rob, you were saying earlier, whereas Pembroke, all they have to do is reset. And I think they could come out here guns a-blazing. I don't know, what do you think, Rob?
I absolutely agree with you. I think that the momentum is fully in force right now with Rockhurst, and Pembroke had some time, and I think that the coaches probably sat down, both the offense and defense, and talked about what they need to work on. And I think that they need to make some adjustments in the clearing game right now, because whenever they're getting the ball down on defense and they're bringing it back up top, if their strategy is to bring 3 guys off the field to get some offensive weapons on that can carry the ball over the midfield, if that's their strategy, go with it. But they got to make sure that they're getting their guys on quicker, because Rockhurst is taking advantage of that 6v3 for a few moments and able to put some pressure on that defense.
Exactly. You either got to get your guys back on the field quicker, or you have to just slow down that clear and make sure you're not starting anything until you get all 6 of your guys on. Because what we've been noticing is that they're getting those 3 guys off, those midfielders off, and then they're just going right for it, and they're just trying to clear 3 men down, and it's not going to work.
And Coach Colbert of Pembroke is, I would say, probably the best coach in our league. So he's definitely making adjustments. When we played him earlier in the season, we were up 7-2 in the third quarter, and he made huge adjustments, and they came back and won 8-7. Colbert's used to making changes in-game. His players are used to it. So this will definitely be something that can really help a Pembroke team that has so far been struggling.
And you know what? That's what good coaches have to do. They have to realize if something isn't working, they got to change it up. And, you'd like to believe that Coach Colbert went into that delay and told his team some of the stuff that he needs to change up in order to get some momentum back going into the 4 minutes left we have in this first half.
And Pembroke's actually going to start with possession at X.
And man
up. Man up as well.
So we are back and resume the play, and Pembroke will start man up, 6v5 as they move the ball around the perimeter.
Moving around quick to start this man up. Ooh, looks like we're going to get a shot. And
Shot
a
goal! Newell!
And that is exactly what Pembroke needed right there coming out of that delay.
Immediately getting the momentum back on their side. 100% what they needed to do.
Again, what we talked about earlier, the only way to beat that pressure 5-on-6 defensive Rockhurst is to play and make the skip pass, and Hank Newell stings it top right.
Yep.
And just like that, we are back, and it's 4-2 Rockhurst. 3:45 left go in the second quarter.
Looks like Rockhurst is no longer double pulling the face-off. Wonder what that decision came from.
Probably the coaches.
Well, thanks, Rob.
Another scrum of a ground ball after the face-off. Ball still on the ground. Looks like Rockhurst will get possession.
Possession, Hawklets.
I think just the ability of Mielbach to not lose clean, he's keeping it into a scrum, is probably why they brought in the extra short stick, which paid off there because they got he was the one who won the ground ball, and it was number 14, Griffin Lanning.
Great job getting a contested ground ball there by Lanning, and also getting out of that pressured area with just about everybody on the field around him.
Rockhurst spinning the ball. Once again, looking at where their matchups are. And we got a short stick deep mid matchup right here as Rockhurst attacks going over the top. Ooh. Pass just a little bit off.
Blake Hager with the ground ball. Dangerous pass.
Ooh, tried to jump it, and Rockhurst tries to take advantage, but misses the net just wide.
Shot by number 10, Max Williams.
Looks like Crosby Gasaway is going to bring it off on the end line. We'll see if he presses again.
Bringing it all the way from X. Upfield, passing the ball up.
Saved by Red Perrin. It's a big save right off the lightning delay.
And that's a long shot, too. If you're Coach Reed, I'm not sure if you're happy with that shot. That's about 16, 17 now.
And right away we saw the pass try to go to a short stick, but they couldn't connect on it.
And Rockhurst will get the ball back with numbers. Pushing it and pass to the crease just goes over the head. And Pembroke will get the ball back.
Now we see a little bit the opposite with Rockhurst passes sailing. Here comes second team All-Metro player Nathan Barwin.
Looks like Pembroke is slowing down a little bit on this clear, not trying to make something out of it just yet.
Try and get it back to a one-goal game before halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Another adjustment, it looks like they might have moved Staker to crease.
Shot.
Goal! Just like that, Max Arnold puts one in the back of the net. And that's what happens if you're going to lock someone off on crease. There's going to be no slide help.
Especially if you got a Cobra slide set right there. That first initial slide is going to be non-existent if you're having him locked off, just like you said, Jack.
Just like that, 3 minutes go by, and Pembroke's right back in the game. Colbert made some huge adjustments.
Yeah, that's a huge goal for Pembroke because regardless if they score again by the end of the half, they're going, as long as they hold Rockhurst to no more goals in this half, they're going into the halftime with all the momentum.
Clean win for Will Carolyn.
Possession Raiders.
Moves it back to the goalie.
And Pembroke will get off at the clear. Trail check, though, by Rockhurst, and there will be a stoppage of play.
It was a big, great call, timeout by Dave Colbert.
It's a great timeout.
Phenomenal call, and with 1:07 left in the first half, Pembroke will get the ball back on their side of the field and hope to tie this game up before halftime.
They're going to have a minute and 7 seconds to do it.
And Coach Colbert is jumping on the sidelines. He seems pumped up. His
He's
players
fired
are pumped up. Now, what do you think, Pat, that Coach Reed is telling his players right now?
Right now, he's telling his defense, stay calm, stay collected. We're not trying to get any takeaway checks right here. We're just trying to hold them to nothing. Not trying to do anything crazy, just play good, solid defense and hold them till the end of the half.
I think you got to be telling your guys right now, if we're locking off on crease, everyone needs to be super vocal and getting the dodge in lanes when you're playing an adjacent defense. And that just means you slide from the guys to the left and to the right. So I think hopefully Reedy's saying that to his defense, just kind of talk. Keep the communication up, because that's what we're going to need to do if we have Jack Staker on crease and we can't slide from there.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Rockhurst came out with 1 minute left and changed up their defensive scheme, even maybe jumping into some kind of zone just to throw off the Pembroke offense before going into halftime.
And traditionally, Reedy has a zone installed. He ran it a lot last year, not as much this year, but his players definitely have the capability to do it. But Pembroke has a chance to tie it up right here. They have the ball possession with 1 minute left.
Rockhurst will come out man-to-man.
Pembroke set up in an open offense, no man on crease.
It looks like they're pressing out a little bit more.
Making me eat my words.
Hank Newell gets past his defender. Saved by Kukulinski.
Rockhurst gets the rebound.
Oh,
But a
ball's
good
out.
ride by Pembroke that's going to
It's
turn
going to
into
be a
a
flag
flag.
down.
Flag down.
If Tommy can win this position.
And the ball will just trickle out of bounds, and Rockhurst will get the man up with 34 seconds left.
Looks like it's going to be a cross-checking call. I might be wrong on that.
Now it's interesting here because if it's a 30-second penalty, a technical penalty, it doesn't really matter. Rockhurst has, the penalty will expire before the end of halftime. But if it is a full minute, they could have held the ball if they didn't get a shot and then started with possession in the second half. But it will be a 30-second techno.
Looks like a little bit of confusion.
We will see what's going on here.
One thing I'm a little disappointed in is I haven't got the LAKC hat yet.
I'm bummed too.
That
the new logo this year.
Pretty new logo.
And it looks like the penalty is 1 minute. So Rockhurst is going to hold the ball, not even attempt to go to the net, so that way they start with the ball in the second half.
So I think it's going to be it was a cross-check call. Rockhurst is going to hold the ball into halftime with a 1-goal game, which was Rockhurst was pulling away early, but Pembroke completely just built himself right back into the game. That's a huge 4 minutes after the lightning delay for Pembroke.
Oh, absolutely.
A big 2-goal push by Pembroke here in the last few minutes after the delay. But Rockhurst will start with the ball with 1 goal up and man up for the second half.
And it looks like it's going to be 10 minutes till the start of the second half, but we're going to go to commercial and we'll kind of debrief the first half outside in front of the podium.
Welcome back, folks, to the LAKC semifinals between Rockhurst and Pembroke. We have a 4-3 game, Rockhurst up at halftime, and I'm Rob McCarthy. This is my brother, Pat McCarthy. I know we look alike. We're not twins, though. It's okay.
Whatever.
So 4-3 Rockhurst, and as the rain starts to come down again,
Now.
hopefully we don't get another weather delay. But with that first weather delay coming in at around 4 minutes in the first half, it really seemed like Pembroke took advantage of it and made some adjustments just before going into halftime.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Pembroke completely took advantage of what was a 20, 30-minute lightning delay, made adjustments, came out firing all cylinders in that last 4 minutes, and brought the Rockhurst lead to within one. And they have all the momentum right now, even with Rockhurst with the man up.
And as we hear from the PA announcer, we will be in another weather delay here for another 20 to 30 minutes, and they're telling the fans to evacuate the stadium.
It's going to be a long halftime here at Durwood Stadium at UMKC.
Indeed, but we'll touch on some of the stuff that Pembroke kind of did, and I feel like Pembroke made some adjustments and cleared the ball a lot more effective in just those few minutes they had right before halftime, and cutting the goal differential just to 1. And they're starting to bear the shots. And that being said, Rockhurst's goalie is standing on his head as well.
Oh, absolutely. Kuklinski is doing an excellent job in the net for Rockhurst. The Hawklets have been playing excellent defense so far, only allowing 3 goals in this first half. Unfortunately, their team only has 1 more goal than their opponent, Pembroke. So, I don't know. What do you think about Pembroke coming out of the second half?
I think Pembroke does have the momentum, like you were mentioning, but something that I will be intriguing to see is how Rockhurst comes out. Well, they will be man up for that first, I believe, 25 seconds they have, and they will start with the possession. There will be no face-off. So we will see if they can capitalize on that and get the momentum back going their way. That being said, they still are up 1 goal, so they still have the advantage, and they still are looking to build on that. But it certainly seems like Pembroke took the most out of the opportunity of the weather delay and bringing it back into a close game.
Absolutely. And one thing I will say from experience as a player is that when one team has all the momentum, then that momentum switches. If it switches back that third time, it's really hard to get that run back in your favor. So Pembroke needs to make sure that they hold Rockhurst to nothing on this man-up opportunity they're going to start the half with if they want to keep their momentum rolling through the second half.
Indeed, indeed. And it is a game of runs, too. You got one team going on 1 run with 2-3 goals, and then the next thing you know, the other team's fighting right back in. So it'll definitely be an interesting second half, and we're excited to see how it plays out. And we will just wait out this weather delay, but we will be back in a few short moments with an interview, I believe, with a player, and we'll be coming back to you shortly.
Welcome back. I'm with fellow first-team All-Metro midfielder from Blue Valley Southwest, JP Tomasco.
Good to be here, Jack.
And we just brought him up here. We're going to get a little bit of his thoughts on the game and kind of thoughts on the season as a whole. So, JP, what do you think about that first half so far?
I think that Rockhurst came to play. They came out very physical and, working really hard. I think Pembroke needs to do a better job of, they are controlling the faceoffs, but, Jack Saker is getting locked off for the majority of the time. So every time the ball, goes out of bounds or it's a loose ball, he needs to make an effort to make sure he picks up the ball because he is the distributor and their best player. So I think that's something that Pembroke really needs to work on.
Thinking back on the season as a whole, what do you think about the league this year? I know it was Shawnee Mission East went 11-0, but I would say, and I think you would agree, that the 2 through 6 spots were pretty much dead even with a lot of close games between them. Do you think that's accurate? And what do you think about the league?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that a lot. I think teams like West, Rockhurst, Southwest, Northland,
which we'll see later.
Yeah, all in Pembroke, all those teams. Every game between all of them were really close games. Some of them went to overtime. Some of them were 1-goal games. I think our Northland game was a 3-goal game. Our game was a 2-goal game. Rockhurst game, 1-goal game. So there wasn't really too much separation in terms of talent this season.
And I just heard word from an inside source that later tonight, Shawnee Mission East face-off man who has been out for the year, Hank Breckenridge, will be padded up and will be in action.
I can't wait to see the matchup between the second team All-Metro Isaac Henn versus Hank Breckenridge.
Was he second or first team?
He was second.
Oh, all right.
Oh, no, wait, no, he was first. He was
Yeah,
first.
he was first, yeah.
Never mind. Logan Baldacci, shout out Logan Baldacci was second team.
And JP, looking forward till next year. I know both of us are graduating, but way too early prediction. Who do you got next year winning it all?
Next year, I think I got to go with the home team. Blue Valley Southwest is going to win it next year. Only 2 graduating seniors, myself and Tyler Aho, but we're bringing back the majority of the squad. So I think next year we're going to bring home the ship.
I disagree. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, JP. You're one of my best friends in the whole world. Thank you.
I'll miss you next year, buddy.
And we'll get back to you later.
Only Roberts and Whittier played
Welcome back here. Jack Mahoney and Rob McCarthy talking to you about some lacrosse, about the Pembroke and Rockhurst game here in the semifinals for the LAKC. As we are under a severe weather storm until 7:15, I believe, and we are in a weather delay at halftime. there was a recent lightning strike within 3 miles that's going to reset the clock for another 30 minutes here. I think that was about 5 minutes ago. So we're looking at another 20, 25 minutes until we can get the start of the next game. As we hear another thunder, so hopefully the delay isn't too long. But the players are inside right now talking to each other. The coaches are probably making some halftime adjustments. So what do you think that Rockhurst right now and Coach Reed is telling his players offensively, defensively, and all around the board?
I think first thing Rockhurst is going to do is just kind of set up for this man down that they're in. Well, they're man up.
They're man, yes.
But they're going to set up for their man advantage, kind of start a play running through. I would look to Crosby Gassaway or Michael Nolan to be the one shooting. They kind of seem to have the hot hand early on the night. Then I would say they'd probably look to, on defense, kind of a little bit we've got into, but kind of go into a more adjacent slide package just because Pembroke looks to put Jack Staker on crease. I don't know if that will continue because Colbert likes to switch it up. But I would say that they'll probably go to a more adjacent slide package, which is a lot more advanced, especially if, again, we talked about this earlier, but if your best pull is stuck in the middle and not being able to communicate as well as it could normally, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Rockhurst. Second thing, I would say they really need to get more clean wins on face-offs. That's how they dominated early, and Pembroke kind of came back, started being able to clear the ball, started winning face-offs. If Pembroke keeps getting possessions, they're going to win this game. They have the better offense. That's just the way it's going to go. But that doesn't mean Rockhurst can't kind of set up against that. And so I think they're going to go into a little bit more pressure on the ride and kind of force the pulls to make passes. Because we saw a lot of wonky passes by both the goalie and the pulls, which has to do with A, the rain, and B, just, again, not as many stronger players from Pembroke, just having a smaller team. For Rockhurst, I also think they need to continue to clear well on their own. They're getting kind of beat up top side, which is a more defensive thing, but once they get the ball, they've lost a couple contested ground balls behind the goal, which are ground balls you just have to win. I think Kuklinski's keeping them in this game, even though they're winning. It's a little surprising to say, but I think Kuklinski's the one who's keeping them in the game, their goalie. For Pembroke, I would say get Jack Staker involved however you can. I know he's getting locked off. Make him set picks. Make him stand around crease. Get him involved. Every time the ball goes out at the end line, make him pick it up. Every time there's a restart, make him start the ball. And then Peter Britton is going to need to step up on their attack.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at some of the key statistics in this game, turnovers, Pembroke probably has a couple more turnovers than Rockhurst does. The ground ball seems kind of even. They're both playing fairly well against each other, and I'm really curious to see how they both come out in this second half. The ground is probably a little bit same as it was probably in the first half, a little bit more wet. Rain's kind of been off and on. The ball has been a little bit more sticky. You'd say pockets are getting a little bit more deeper with the rain coming in. So moving on and forward to the second game we have here tonight between Shawnee Mission East and Northland. You got Shawnee Mission East, who is a powerhouse and has been around in the Final Four for the last few years, and ever since I was back in high school back in 2011, 2012, and they've still made it forward into the Final Four for ever, kind of ever since. So looking forward to that game. What do you think is going to be some of the keys for Northland, who's the underdog coming in and trying to disrupt the success that Shawnee Mission East has been having?
I think the only way that they're going to be able to stay in this game is to win faceoffs. They have the best faceoff guy in the league as of now, arguably. He was the first-team All-Metro player, Isaac Henn. He's not playing anywhere in college next year. He probably could have, but he's a dominant player at the faceoff X. But he's also going to be involved in their whole offense. He's just an all-around really important player for Northland. And this game is going to be a battle of attackmen, kind of as the game we just watched is more a defensive-centered battle with kind of Quinn Brandmeyer and Nathan Barwin versus Tommy Eccles. I think the next game is going to be the battle of the two attack lines. You got sophomore Kate Eldred and senior Griffin Fries for East versus kind of Connor Jones and Jake Fisher, who are both seniors going to Rockhurst University next year. So I think that game's going to be a little more fast-paced, offensive-minded. East has put up big numbers goal-wise this whole entire season, so is Northland. I think, however, the only way Northland can stay with them is to win faceoffs and outscore them. Because East is going to get their points. It's just going to see if Northland can keep up.
Yeah. And I was fortunate enough to talk to head coach of Northland, Scott Davis, last night as he was preparing for the game, and some of the key notes that he told me of how they need to come out and win the game is he said it's going to start with the first face-off. He says the very first face-off is going to set the tone for the game. That's a very generic response for coaches. You want to win the first face-off regardless. But he said not only that, but he thinks the first quarter is going to dictate how the rest of the game goes, because Shawnee Machine's has a lot of great players with Freeze and Eldred, and they a bunch of great other threats on offense. So you think that the first quarter is really going to have to set the tone for Northland, and they can't let Shawnee Machine's kind of run away with it early on in the first half. So it's definitely going to be a really exciting game. I'm pumped for it. I'm sure you are as well. And as we are still in a weather delay right now, as well as halftime, so we were just hanging out here, and as the teams are both still in the locker rooms. So let me get a quick comment on this. What do you think about this nice Rockhurst helmet right here?
I think it's typical Tim Reedy. He loves talking about how long he's been in the league. I think it's a cool piece of history of the league, and I don't know. I'm glad I'm not wearing those anymore.
I'll tell you what. These are the helmets that players would wear back in the 1990s, 1980s, and there's a big talk between football and these collision sports with concussions, and the technology of how these helmets has kind of progressed throughout the years and decades is comparing that to this nice Cascade R right here from Pembroke. So it is a little funny, but we still got a great game for you here today. Second half is going to be coming up real quick, and we'll get right back to you shortly.
Welcome back. We are close to beginning the second half of the Rockhurst Pembroke game. Rockhurst still up 4-3, and the players have yet to come out onto the field from the locker room. But it looks like the weather's cleared up a little bit. The rain has stopped momentarily, as fans have kind of been huddling underneath the bleachers and going back to their cars for the short rain delay. But we're going to resume action here just shortly. Now,
In about 10 minutes, that's when the game should resume. I think they're planning for the face-off to start at 7:30. So
7:30.
with that, though, I think both teams are going to have a pretty quick warm-up after a really, really long delay, especially if you add the delay from the first lightning delay. So what do you think that effect will be on both teams?
You know, I think the effect will be Rockhurst will have an opportunity now to make some adjustments just like Pembroke did at the first weather delay. You know, they got to find a way to shut down what Pembroke's been doing, what they did in those last 4 minutes. And it's very clear that Pembroke has the momentum kind of coming out into the second half. But Coach Reed knows that what the defensive game plan that they had for most of the first half was working, and they just kind of fell apart once they came back out with the 4 minutes left in the first half. So I think that all they have to do is stick to their game plan. You know, they got to win faceoffs. They got to get the ball on offense. And what they've been doing with the kind of methodical offense and keeping the ball away from Pembroke, valuing the possessions, has allowed them to kind of stay where they are in the lead just by 1 goal. But their defense is playing, you know, decently well, even though for the kind of hiccups they had towards the end of that first half.
I would agree. I think the biggest thing is for both teams, it's not that first deep hole, that second deep hole, it's that third deep hole, or the person who doesn't play as much for either team. They just have to maintain top side on defense, and looks like here comes Rockhurst coming out. So I think the biggest thing is just having these teams are so even that the team that has not their stars show up, but the rest of the team is going to be the team that wins the game. And so far, that's been Rockhurst. I think another interesting thing is going into the halftime, both teams have a lot of positives. Rockhurst dominated the first half and fell apart a little bit in the last 2 minutes, but they're still winning. And on the flip side, Pembroke kind of got dominated, but they scored 2 quick ones back within 1. And so if I'm in that locker room, I'm saying, we got them now. We have the momentum. But Rockhurst is thinking the same thing. We let them sneak in a couple goals at the end, but if we keep playing the way we're playing, we're good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's so important right now is how Pembroke reacts to this man down that they're about to have to play for about 25 seconds. If they can hold them to nothing here, I think they're going to keep that momentum absolutely. If they can, if Rockhurst does get to go off this man up, Pembroke is going to have to make sure they buckle down mentally and make sure that they do not let that get to their heads, and make sure that they stay level-headed and don't let that affect them.
So as you can see on your screen right here, we have a radar. And once again, I am not a meteorologist, but you can see that the storm is moving northeast, and it's just a little bit south of us, as we are just underneath where you can see the Kansas City lettering right there, just south of that. So there could be some more rain coming in, but for right now, we have a little bit of a cloudy sky, but no rain, and we are looking to resume still at 7:30. As Rockhurst has made their way out to the field and has began just kind of playing fast and warming up, and Pembroke is currently making their way down the stairs to get to their bench and get a little stretch, get the sticks warmed up, and get ready to go in the second half.
I think what we saw in the first half is pretty character of what we thought these teams were going to be. Pembroke's a team about runs. They're going to score goals in quick succession, but there are also going to be times when they don't touch the ball much or they get turnovers because they're extremely aggressive on both sides of the ball. Whereas Rockhurst is a team that you're not going to have so much fluctuation. You're going to have the ball for a long time. You're going to work a 2-man game. If it doesn't work, the only turnovers you're going to get are probably going to be throwing passes out of bounds or when Pembroke's aggressiveness pays off. So I think if Pembroke can keep clearing successfully, that's the key for them in the second half, because like Pat said earlier, that was the biggest change. It's when they started to clear the ball, they started scoring.
Absolutely. So as both teams have made their way out back to the field, we will begin shortly with the second half, and we will go to commercial and be right back. This presentation of the Lacrosse Association of Kansas City is brought to you by Top Gun Midwest, Fountain City Lacrosse, Blue Lions Lacrosse, KC Heartland Lacrosse, and True Lacrosse, your year-round provider for boys and girls travel teams, camps, clinics, leagues, and private sessions. Experience the true difference.
Looks like the fans are funneling back in. Both teams are getting hyped up. Kuklinski running back to take his place between the pipes. Oh yeah, we're going to have Rockhurst man up to start. So they've had 40 minutes about to kind of make a play ready for this man up. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you like to believe with just 25 seconds left on the clock, and they sacrificed 35 seconds at the end of the half to hold the ball and make sure they start without a face-off to begin the half and start with the ball man up. So they want to utilize these 25 seconds, and you'd like to believe Coach Reed drew up some kind of play for this Rockhurst offense to capitalize on this man up.
Looks like Max Williams is going to start with the ball.
And here we go.
Drop pass early. Face dodge by Gasaway. Huge save by Red Perrin. And Quinn Brandmeier lays Crosby Gasaway out.
Ooh, turnover
Michael Knowlton
by
with
Pembroke.
picking off the pass.
That's what we were talking about earlier, trying to slow down those clears is going to be huge for Pembroke. Didn't do it there. Looks like they're going to get a clean one here, though.
And already we're seeing a lot of drop passes.
You can kind of tell that long halftime might have played a little bit to do with what's going on with the drop passes, and maybe not as much nerves, but the sticks just aren't warm yet. So both teams, it'll be interesting to see how they react to the second half and minimizing these turnovers. As Pembroke goes in and scores.
Oh, they call a ward. And that was a huge call because Peter Burdett had an offensive midi guarding him.
So Pembroke cannot capitalize on the numbers and turns the ball over when it could have been a potential goal, as Rockhurst will get the ball back down on offense and begin to look for those matchups.
And we've seen throughout this game, Tommy Eccles is just a one-man wrecking crew on clears. I don't think he's only had one failed clear this entire game, and he's really it's a difference from Pembroke because Tommy has just cleared it every time by himself.
Yeah, he does a great job of just putting his shoulder down and outrunning all the stagnant Pembroke attackmen. Just right past him over midline, get the ball off into an attackman's hands and back to his job on defense.
And if you saw that last play, there's already an adjustment on the two-man game from Pembroke, they played it a little bit more aggressive, jumping off it and being able to cover that second guy. So it's just Colbert making a play.
As Knowlton holds the ball up top, he's guarded by a short stick D mid. As he passes to the middle, just off the stick and deflects to the goaltender. As he makes a great outlet pass to
Red Perrin with
Pembroke.
a beautiful pass.
And they will bring the ball down behind next and hope to settle the ball and get their offensive middies out there. Turnover by Pembroke, and Rockhurst ends up with the ball.
That's great defense by William Mielbach, seeing a defensive midi with the ball and attacking. And here's a fast break opportunity for Rockhurst.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's
going
gonna
to
be a
That's going to
flag.
be a flag. That's going to be a push with possession, a 30-second penalty.
Crosby Gasaway,
he
top
takes
left with the
advantage.
snipe.
www.isteencorners.com. Was that a sting or what?
It was.
Great heads-up play, even with the penalty, having the recognition to come back and snipe it top left.
So that penalty for the 30-second technical push was going to be waved off. Both teams will be even for this next face-off as Rockhurst takes a 5-3 lead with 9:14 left in the third quarter.
Oh, are they? I think they might have called a cross-check. So I think
Oh,
he's
yeah.
going to be in the box.
Pembroke is man down in this
wait.
face-off.
No, it looks like
No?
There's a little confusion on the sideline with the referee, but you were right initially. The push is waved off. It's a great call, Rob.
There we go. And that's just a great heads-up play by Crosby there, number 8. Realizing that the flag is on the field, they have a free possession. If they miss it, if it gets turned over, they're getting the ball right back on a man up. And so he just took his shot the second he got it, and he took advantage of it, scoring a goal there.
Pembroke has numbers, pushes to the crease. Ball flies out of the stick, but ground ball misses as it goes out of bounds, and the ref has a little late call. But it looks like it will stay with Pembroke.
It's a little confusing back there with that end line. It's not the end line of the soccer field. There's a line drawn across.
So Pembroke will get their chance with the offense and hope to get something going here like they did at the end of the first half. As they spin the ball around the perimeter from X up to the, would that be the right or left wing?
Right wing? Right.
Wing? Yeah. As they, a feed across his body ends up missing his player. Pass goes wide, and Rockers will regain possession.
And Max Williams is wide open on the clear. There we see again the consequences of sending all your middies off the field when you're subbing on a clear or a ride.
It looks like it's just more of the same for Rockhurst, just sticking to their game plan. Slow the ball down, find their matchup as they get a short stick D midi right here. Shot just low and away and wide. But that's a great take right there. With a low angle, you know, you'd rather, if you're not going to score a goal there, you'd rather miss the net so that way you have a chance to get the ball back off the end line.
Last week, Pembroke against us did something where they had number 5 press out more, and as this game progresses, I'm wondering to see if they're going to start doing that a little bit more. There's a takeaway check.
And it will be Pembroke ball after, which appears to be a forced turnover by the defense as they look to clear it here.
Our officials for this game today are Chris Harris, Bill Powers, Grant Van Horn, and
Oh,
Mitch
yard
Caster
sale.
are the men
And another
officiating the game
takeaway
tonight.
check.
Couple checks dislodging the ball just then.
And Slayton Smith, a D-midi running up the field for Rockhurst. Great pass.
Oh,
Huge
an
save by
excellent
Red Perrin.
Doorstep save.
Off a shot by number 6, Blake Hager.
And that's going to be withholding, which is going to give Rockhurst the ball back. the ball got stuck in number 5, Nathan Barwin's stick. So it's going to be Rockhurst ball, and Crosby Gasway is going to start it on the wing.
As Crosby will take the ball out to the wing and set it back up.
I think he's feeling himself a little bit.
I think so too. He's testing his matchup right here.
He
Like
is
what he's
split
doing
dodge.
at X. He's trying to get to his strong hand. But way to be patient there, not force anything.
Rockhurst players are just so disciplined, never pressing too far. It seems like they just make barely any mistakes unless it's a drop pass.
And, you got to attest that to Coach Reed and what he's done with the program for so many years that he's been there. He really has gotten a good grip on his players and making sure that they're disciplined, not making the turnovers like you said, and running the offense just to how he just likes it. And it's worked for the most part. They've had a good control of the game, and even though the momentum has swung back and forth a little bit, they've had full control over what they want to do, and it seems like, Pembroke is not playing into their game plan, but Rockhurst is executing what they want to do.
Again, Pembroke just making huge adjustments on this two-man game. Works again for them there. Forces a bad pass. That's a huge change I've seen early on from Colbert, is just how to play that two-man game. That time they aggressively switched, forced a bad pass.
And the two-man game is a big part of college lacrosse and a lot of programs, and especially is utilized heavily in the indoor sport of lacrosse, box lacrosse, as it's transitioned its way onto the field in college.
Heads-up play by Brendan Brewster, just forcing the ball out of bounds because it went off Pembroke last.
And here we go. Here comes Eccles down the field with the ball. You think he's passing it?
Not likely.
No way.
No, he'll split the double. He'll take that matchup.
Rockhurst is going to slow it down, of course, once again. Bring in their offensive subs. So what we've seen so far is Rockhurst has 1 goal, but Pembroke's kind of lost the momentum they had initially. It's kind of more back to the beginning of the game, which is not much possession. Rockhurst holding the ball. So we'll see if they can make another run.
As Crosby goes down here with the dodge, splits left to right. Moves the ball off. And here it is too. Just Rockhurst again, just being smart with the ball, not forcing anything that's not there. Playing a little two-man game there with the pick by Crosby.
And here we go, number 5, Nathan Barwin pressing out a lot more. Interesting dodge.
Ooh. As Hager throws the ball just over the head of his teammate.
And I actually saw that it looked like Jack Sticker's foot just bumped over the line, and that's what Mitch called on the other side of the field. Pembroke's going to be upset about that one, but that was the right call. Crosby Gasway pressing again. Flag down.
As the ball rolls to the midline, and that just gave them an extra possession. They have a free possession right now as they have a man up coming, pending if they don't score on this possession, potentially. As they test that short stick matchup right there, kind of on the GLE corner of the off the offensive side.
Great split dodge.
Yep.
Crosby Gasway has a short stick on him. He's going to press. Ooh,
shot.
Jeff Keller.
High heat, just a little bit too high. But Rockhurst will retain possession with the man up. Tell you what, it's been a busy day for Patrick Humer, number 9 in scarlet and blue. His matchup has been tested all game long, but for the most part, he stood his ground pretty well.
Rockhurst takes a shot, save, and backed up by Crosby.
Did Rockhurst score on their last man up? I believe they did.
Another shot
Shank.
just wide.
Rockhurst shot by number 10, Max Williams.
I'd like to see Rockhurst move the ball a little bit more before they shoot, to kind of get the defense off their positions.
There's a skip pass right there. Get the
One more.
defense to rotate. Crosby tries to bury it, puts his head down, and just
Shot by number 8,
shoots a little bit too near side.
Once again, the ref calls
Rockhurst keeps possession.
Mistake
that
there.
they can't blow that. They have to wait for the goalie to get back in the crease to blow it, so it was an inadvertent whistle starting the game back up.
But if you're Rockhurst, that's the kind of ball movement that you need on your man up. You
Exactly.
need to get those passing around the perimeter, but hopefully that is what opens up the skip lanes and get the
There it
defense
is again.
rotating.
And snipe!
Rockhurst score by number 8.
Crosby Gasway's amped up, and he's feeling himself. That's 2 high-to-high rips he's had back-to-back.
28 remaining in the third quarter.
He's putting the team on his back.
Pembroke 3.
As he celebrates with his teammates right there.
End of the third
Last 2
quarter,
goals for Rockhurst.
the
First 2 goals of this
on the
quarter been by Crosby.
side of the stadium so we can get you guys out onto the field as soon as possible. Thanks.
6-3 Rockhurst over Pembroke. 2:28 left in the third quarter.
And Pembroke changing it up. They're going to lock off Crosby Gasway. Look, they got a short stick on them, and they're going to double pull the wings.
As Rockhurst gets some numbers, pushes the net, shoots, scores!
Quick goal for Rockhurst.
You know, we've been talking about momentum all day, you know, switching back and forth, but it certainly seems like Rockhurst got a hold of this game right now, up 7-3.
Yep, they got that first goal coming out of halftime, and they've just been rolling with it ever since. 4-point lead for Rockhurst, 7-3 here with 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
And smart call right here by Coach Colbert of Pembroke calling a timeout. Bring the defense together, bring the team together, talk about what you need to do, talk about what Rockhurst is doing at the face-off X, and just, you know, all of the offensive success they've found, just being patient. They need to find a way to get some stops here, whether that's from their goaltender getting some saves or just finding a way to get some turnovers and turning it into some success down on the offensive end.
So last game we played them, and what they did to us, which I think they're going to shift to now, is they're going to put a short stick on the best attackman and lock him off completely. And then they're going to put Quinn Brandmeier and an LSM on the wing. So they're going to have 2 pulls on the wing to try and combat the face-off dominance so far by Rockhurst in this half. And they have such physical pulls that it really just turns it into a ground ball scuff. And even if Rockhurst picks it up, he's going to have 2 sticks all over him, especially by these 2 dominant players. So I think that's the shift Colbert's making. He's telling his boys, chill out. We only got 4 goals to make up. We're not out of it yet. Still the third quarter. They've been in this place before, too. They've had, I think, 4 comeback wins this year. They did it against us. They did it against Olathe. This team is no stranger to coming back, and their fans are still super supportive. You can hear them below us right now.
They're a team that likes to thrive on those runs like we've been talking about, too. All they need is 1 goal, and they can get right back in this game. What's interesting, though, about the whole double pole theory on the face-off X is that, yes, you might be getting more length out of the stick and getting more, you might have more guys, or not more guys, but you have the ability to get more ground balls because you have 2 poles at the X. But what you take away from that is you're taking away a short stick guy, other than the face-off guy, who can carry the ball.
Yeah.
No, usually you want to have a pole, an LSM on the wing, but on the other side you want to have a guy who can carry the ball once you win it and carry it down. So if they're going to have 2 poles, their attack's going to need to come up once they gain possession to help those poles out.
And here we go.
It's like a
There's a push.
push there.
Push, Pembroke ball.
So
That might be a delay, but they're not going to call it.
Yeah.
You're not really allowed to roll the ball like that, but
No. Well, Pembroke won it not exactly how they thought they'd win that one, but they got it regardless.
a close pass goes down in the bottom corner of the field. And you got to think Pembroke has got to utilize his possession to the best of their ability. They need to get some kind of momentum going in here, especially going in the fourth quarter. So they got to find a way to utilize this as they get a shot right here.
oh, wow! It with a snipe.
Oh, my Lord.
Near side high.
And Peter Burdett put on a show in the playoffs last year. I was announcing last year too, and he has an absolute crank from outside. And him and Crosby are just battling right now. And Rockhurst is in the game, should I say, is back within 3 goals.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can make this some kind of run out of it.
Just barely snuck that shot by Kuklinski on that top right corner of the net. Very tippy top of the corner.
That's going to be withholding. It's going to be Rockhurst ball. They're going to quickly double this ball.
They're going to resettle to a regular 6-on-6.
And there's the lock off on Crosby. You can't really see it on your screen, but if it comes over here, you're going to see it. This guy's chirping Crosby right here.
He's all up in his face. He's telling him whatever he can think of.
So now we see who steps up. Oh, great
like
takeaway check.
A caused turnover by Pembroke.
Great check.
So with Crosby out right now, basically, somebody else is going to have to step up for Rockhurst.
Great outlet pass right here for Pembroke as we're about to cross over the midline.
Excellent
Here
job
comes Hank
on the
Newell with a
clear.
head of steam.
Good job by Rockhurst getting in and not allowing any kind of transition or numbers for Pembroke. As we are just under a minute in the 3rd quarter, as Pembroke hopes to cut this game to a 2-goal lead for Rockhurst heading into the 4th.
Colin McCann playing extremely aggressive defense. If I'm Jack Staker, I'm doing everything I can to get open right now.
2 swim
Flag
moves,
down.
and it leads to a flag drawn.
Looks like Pembroke could, if they retain possession here, they could take that possession into the 4th quarter with them.
Yep.
Doesn't look like they're going to get it, though. They're going to have about 17 seconds of a man-up opportunity right here to end the 3rd quarter.
So it looks like it's going to be a slash on, is that Colin McCann, number 7? I believe so.
Now let's see here if Pembroke does the same strategy that Rockhurst did at the end of the 2nd quarter and taking this possession and not going to the cage, holding the ball so that way they retain possession going into the 4th quarter without a face-off and starting on man up. And it looks like that's exactly what they're about to do.
They're going to hold that
the ball. Yep, they're going to hold the ball for the last 10 seconds.
Or not?
No, they're going to hold it.
No, yeah. Oh, you got to watch your back.
They just got to make
we
sure
go.
someone's holding the ball when the clock strikes 0, and it appears that it was.
There will be no face-off to start the 4th quarter.
So Pembroke's going to start with the ball. Biggest thing you're looking for as Pembroke is skip passes. And again, if they can get this one in, 2-goal game, another run. Colbert made a great adjustment, locking off Crosby. Someone's going to have to step up for Rockhurst because I know Pembroke's going to score in this 4th quarter. Who's going to step up?
So we have a 3-goal game. Rockhurst up 7-4 on Pembroke, and we are heading into the 4th. And we'll be right back with you. And welcome back. As we head into the 4th here, Rockhurst up 7-4 on Pembroke. As Pembroke will start with the ball, man up. What do you want to say, like 45 seconds left with their man up?
43, something like that, yeah.
Very precise, I like it.
Thank you.
I love that's why we have you boys up here.
Yeah.
Precise calculations.
Yeah, tell my math teacher that.
And if you can
I think she'd
see
disagree.
in the background right now, I don't know if you can see, but Shawnee Mission East and Northland are both up here watching the game. Just trying to calm the nerves a little bit. They've had a long delay, so they've just been thinking about the game.
So as both teams break down the huddle and head out for the 4th quarter, folks, we got an exciting one for you. It might be 7-4, and the 3-goal gap might seem big, but Pembroke can rock a run right here and try and get some momentum with just 1 goal, cutting it to a 2-goal deficit.
Look for number 50, Peter Bird. He's got the hot hand, and he's starting with the ball up top. He's going to be the one shooting, or it might be 25, Hank Newell.
Pembroke's going to need to get this ball movement around the perimeter and just try and open up those skip lanes because, like you said earlier, Rockhurst has a phenomenal man-down unit. So when they spin the ball around the top, they're not going to get a whole lot of rotations out of the defense. But it's when they open up those skip lanes and they throw them, that's when kind of all hell can break loose and find that backside success. As they do
Just
right there,
like
skip
that.
pass, shot,
Hank
score!
Newell!
You said it. You said it and it happened.
Hank Newell, baby. Feeling like Tony Romo up here, predicted stuff. And even though Jack Staker's getting locked off, that's the other dangerous part of his game. That was a perfect pass through a bunch of sticks, right into Hank Newell's stick, and he scored that goal. But that's the assist from Jack Staker. So he might not be scoring tonight, but he's really making an impact on the man-up plays. And I hope to see him getting a little more impact throughout the rest of the game tonight.
Looks like both teams are now double pulling the wing.
And
The
Quinn
ball-
Ba-
Pembroke. And he gets the ball taken away. That's Carter Elder who got that takeaway.
As Rockhurst takes a timeout as they get the ball and possess it into the box. So with 11:27, Rockhurst up 7-5. And just like that, you know, Pembroke doesn't get the ball back, and they can't kind of build on that success and the momentum that they had with that goal. But you got to think that if they get a deep defensive stand right here, it's going to help them out a lot, and that's going to give their attack a little bit more motivation and energy to get that ball back in the net.
Absolutely.
I'm interested to see if Rockhurst has Crosby Gasaway start with the ball. Just because he's getting locked off by a short stick, they can kind of exploit that matchup if they have a short stick guarding him. If not, I don't know who's going to dodge. I would think maybe number 16, Michael Knowlton, who had a little success earlier in the game. Or the attackman or midfielder who doesn't have the pull because they're locking off.
Yeah. And if I'm Coach Reed in this huddle right now, and I'm talking to Crosby, and, you know, and they're still locking him off, there's two things you can do when another team decides to lock off one of your best players. You can either play 5v5, or you can decide, and when you play 5v5, just maybe moving that lock guy outside the box, out of the play, so that way there's only 5v5 players going against offensive defense. Or you utilize that player getting locked off and kind of use him as a pick man.
Yeah.
So that way you're still involving him in the play, and it's just an extra body. So that
It's like
way,
setting a pick with two guys.
exactly, because that whoever's locking him off is not going to come off of him, as they still have the short stick D mid on Crosby locked off, and he will not start with the ball.
And either way, if Pembroke does elect to go for more of a 5v5 offense, that certainly does give the possession to them. As any offensive player will know that less guys for each team means more space, and that's an offensive advantage right there.
Absolutely.
And there's the pick. And Crosby has
gets
the
the
ball
ball.
with a short stick on him.
There's a switch, but he's still got a shorty matchup.
And he's going to take his time taking the ball to X behind
High
the net.
lacrosse IQ by Crosby Gasaway.
Yep. Pembroke gets the switch. Oh!
Great
Stick in the
defense by number
passing lane for
35.
35.
So Pembroke looks to clear it out of their own zone as the goalie gets a little sprint in and a little lob pass, just a little bit high for his player, and Pembroke had an opportunity to catch it right on the crease and score it, but just went over the stick, and Rockhurst will retain possession and clear it over the midline.
Now it's going back the other way.
Rockhurst looking to get their personnel on the field, and they might have a red numbers here. Oh, Pembroke recovers into the defense.
And looks like because of the unset situation, they don't have locked off on Crosby. But Michael Knowlton pressing this matchup. Now we'll see senior captain William Mielbach.
Gonna play some two-man right here.
Pick set, gets the switch, beats the
And that
man,
slide.
lefty shot.
Oh, what a goal by
scored!
William
Low and away.
Bobby Froschel just a little late on that slide there, and Rockhurst takes advantage.
I think something that's a credit to Tim Reedy as a coach is they've completely changed their offense since Mason Vasta went out. He's an Air Force commit, high-level D1 player, but they've just completely revolutionized their offense to work around this two-man game that highlights their really good fundamental play. And they just have seniors who are stepping up. William Mielbach, Crosby Gasaway, making big plays tonight for their team.
You love to see it in a game like this, second to last game of the year, potentially the last game of the year. You love to see seniors really ball out, give it everything they got.
There's a clean win for Pembroke, but he's going to get ridden pretty hard.
As it looks like they get into a double, Coach
timeout.
Coach Colbert calls a timeout as they will keep possession. I believe when he called it, he was on Pembroke was on the defensive side of their field, so they might be starting with the ball on their defensive side on the other half of the field. So Rockers will have an opportunity here to ride and maybe get a turnover, so Pembroke can't get a opportunity on offense.
Possibly. It was pretty quick. He may have called it while his feet were over the edge, but I'm not exactly sure. We'll see when the play resumes.
Go ahead.
You got it.
So as Pembroke and Rockhurst meet with their coaches and as they break into the huddle, what do you think is going on right now? What do you think these players are feeling right now with 10 minutes left, a lot on the line? Some of these seniors, like Pat was saying, this could be their last game. What do you think these players are going through right now mentally?
Well, I know from experience just in our last playoff game, that was last week, you're kind of just thinking just absorb this next run and play through it and get to the next play, get a goal, get one goal. If you're Pembroke, it's one goal at a time. You're 2 goals away. You're just right back in this game. So I think they're just thinking, get one here, and then we'll win the face-off and get it again. Rockhurst, I'm thinking, just keep doing what we're doing. Work the 2 minutes. Work every time. I think that's the coaches are saying. And the only thing for Pembroke that's interesting is even though they're getting the ground ball, initial ground ball on the face-off, they're still losing the ball because of how aggressive Rockhurst's attackmen are chasing them. And here we see Jack Sticker going to pick up the ball, which I really like to see. He's been locked off all night. He's Pembroke's best player. He's an All-American. He's about to be recognized after this game. So this is a huge moment for him. I think he can really take a dodge and try and score.
Yeah, and earlier you said Pembroke's going to try and take it 1 goal at a time. I couldn't agree more. In a moment like this, when you think about it as a 3-goal deficit, the anxiety sort of rises a little bit, and it can be hard to really get control over the game. But when you think about it as 1 goal at a time, we're not trying to get it to 8-8 right now. We're trying to get to 8-6, then we'll move on to 8-7, and that's the way that Pembroke needs to have their mentality right now. Just 1 goal at a time. He said it.
So as Jack Staker looks to set up the offense, he tests the matchup.
And what a goal by Jack Staker. That's what makes him an All-American. What a goal. And that's huge.
Nothing but the back of the net.
He didn't even need to pass that ball.
We got an instant replay here.
And takes advantage of slowing it down a little bit, but then picking it up right away, kind of catching his defender off guard. And that's your All-American getting to work right there. That's what you need him to do when he has the opportunity. And he took advantage of an opportunity right there. It was a great job by Staker.
And Rockhurst, Pembroke, right back in within 2 goals.
And if they want to get this game any closer and tie it up, I think Jack Staker's going to need to get even more involved.
If the ball comes out, Will Carolyn picks up the ground ball, and Pembroke's going to have possession.
Now, I believe Pembroke is at a timeout, so if they get into a situation where the ball's down like this and they get possession, they can't call a timeout.
There's Bobby
As the
Freschel with the
ball's
ground
out
ball.
again.
Check.
Where's this
Ball
ball
will go
going?
out of bounds. The ref calls it.
It's going to be Pembroke a ball. I think Hank Newell's going to start with, oh,
And just
Staker.
like that, Jackson get the ball. And you know he's going to want to test that matchup with Eccles.
Got
High
this
IQ
All-American
again.
Matchup right here.
He goes inside, loses the
check.
ball.
That's what makes Tommy an All-American.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good ground ball by Slayton.
That was a great goose right there, too, by the Rockhurst defense to kick the ball out and get it away from the traffic. As Rockhurst turns it over, gives it to the Pembroke goalkeeper, and they're up and out, and they're transitioning right now. They could have numbers, too.
If they look back right now.
Pass to the middle.
Looks like
Off
it's
the-
tipped. They're going to give it back to Rockhurst, though.
Unforced turnover right there. And although there was an opportunity to score, they were running pretty fast down there, and just players couldn't get a grip on the ball.
Tell you, we were talking about Staker taking advantage of an opportunity earlier, but then Eccles came right back and showed why he's an All-American as well. Really making a big defensive play for his team, taking away the ball just a minute ago. Wonderful job by Eccles.
You're going to see Pembroke press out a little bit more.
As they feed the middle, and pass cannot convert, but it looks like Crosby will save the ball just in time before he goes out of bounds and saving the possession.
Forward. No call.
As everyone here is calling in the stands for a award, the
Pembroke
refs
fans
disagree,
upset.
and Rockers will maintain possession and do what they've done all game. Just hold the ball and try and methodically break down this defense. As they test the short stick matchup, shot just a little bit high, and Rockers gets the back up.
I think you're going to start to see Pembroke get a little bit more aggressive. Not yet quite, but just as the clock starts to tick down.
Crosby moves it up.
Feeding in the middle, a little too high for its designated target, and Pembroke will have an opportunity to clear.
Pembroke
from
needs to have a
behind
good clear here.
Pembroke gets some guys off the field, bringing 2 middies, 3 middies on. As Rockers has a high ride right here. All 3 attackmen are on GLE or above. As the defenseman can move the ball up, and the midfielder gets the ball and gets it over midline, and they can hope that they can set up some kind of offensive possession here as they push with
Going for
little numbers and into traffic, but Rockers gets the ball right back with a turnover. Ooh, as a
Great
heads
play
up,
by Max Arnold.
Ball
heads up
still
play
out.
right there.
So I think the count should still be going because Pembroke never picked up the ball.
As they Gilman the ball down the field and just chuck it as far as they can, and it will go out of bounds. And Pembroke will regain the possession and try to do it all over again.
If I'm Coach Colbert, I'm saying slow it down. We're scoring in 6v6. Stop pressing so much. We can score on them, but let's just claw back into the game before we start pressing like that. And Red runs it all the way up.
And there's 6 minutes left in the game, which might not feel like a whole ton, but 2 goals in 6 minutes is very doable. You can get 2 goals in 15.
Here comes Quinn
Here we
Brandmeier.
go.
Oh!
Flag down.
As a defenseman, you hate to see it, a pull, almost get an opportunity to score, then getting the ball taken away right at the end. But he did draw the penalty, and that's going to give Pembroke a great man-up opportunity to bring within 1.
Now let's see if Rockhurst's man-down unit can try and get a grip on this Pembroke man-up, as they've done a pretty decent job of spinning the ball around the perimeter and finding that one skip pass, primarily around the GLE, right where the goal line is, and passing it up top and either shooting from that position or making a one more pass down to the side.
Yeah, they're looking for pressing from X and then passing it top right to Hank Newell. They've had 2 goals like that already, so I look for more of the same. But if Rockhurst starts playing into that, look for them to try and find number 50, Peter Burdett, who's lurking around crease right now. And if they're thinking about the skip pass, that is Rockhurst defense, that crease is going to become much more open.
If I'm Rockhurst right now, I got to focus on keeping my head on a swivel and my stick in the passing lane, especially those poles. You do not want to give them any opportunities if you can. You don't want to allow any skip passes that you shouldn't.
So after the refs kind of convene right here and talk about what's going to be going on in the penalty, Coach Colbert is getting informed by the ref of what the call will be or what the play will be.
Offsides Pembroke, Rockhurst ball.
Wow.
So the call is offsides on Pembroke, and the ball will go to Rockhurst.
I thought for sure it was going to be a slash against Quinn or a hold, but looks like someone didn't stay back when that close defender ran it over.
And that's a costly error right there for Pembroke. You can't allow to make mental mistakes like that at this point in the game, especially when you're trying to bring it within one.
So it looks like the offsides cancels off any kind of penalty that would have happened for Rockhurst, because they shouldn't have had the ball down there in the first place.
Yep.
As Rockhurst moves the ball up across midfield and looks to push as they get numbers going across the top of the middle. Shot just high, and Rockhurst will back it up. It looks like Max Terrell will pick the ball up off the end line. Oh, no.
Or Crosby?
Crosby
Yep,
gets
Crosby's
it.
gonna start with it.
Who else other than Crosby? He pushes up for Max, moves the ball up top.
Looks like Michael Nolan's going to try and take a dodge from top right. No two-man here, which is a little surprising, but he likes his matchup.
And if you're Rockhurst right here, you don't want to give Pembroke a cheap chance at getting the ball again. So you got to be very smart with the ball as Rockhurst takes a shot.
Good save by
Good
Red Perrin.
save.
They want to get as much time out of this clock as possible when they're holding the ball. So they will probably be slow to go on these dodges and only really try and convert and go to the net when there's just a wide open opportunity that slaps them in the face. So Crosby starts with the ball at X.
Nice rocker step. Inside roll.
They spin the ball back up top. Ooh, good hezzy move. And Rockhurst scores. Goal by Max Williams.
Again, starts with Crosby Gasaway dodge.
As Rockhurst extends their lead to 3. As is 9-6 with 4:49 left in this final quarter.
Looks like that goal came from a little bit confusion there on the defense. The slide guy from the crease just got a little too far away from his man, about 15 yards. And by the time his man got the ball, he had to go back, and he was already covered by someone else. That guy had to move back to his original man, and by then he had already caught it, moved it over, and all of a sudden we got two guys that don't know who they're guarding. Costly error for Pembroke on the defense there.
As the ball is still loose, and Pembroke gets the ball off the faceoff as they look to push
He looks
up.
to his top right. There's a shorty.
As Pembroke pushes into the middle, and there are 3 guys that surround him, they're able to get the ball to the outside of the perimeter and hope to set up something here soon. You only got 4 minutes left, and you're down 3 goals. You got to start going to the cage here at some point. Get the personnel on, get your matchup, find the short stick D midi if you're Pembroke, and then start attacking right away. As a throwback pass just goes errant.
But we got a flag on the field. Looks like we're going to get some sort of push call here. And Pembroke's going to have a free possession. And a crease feed doesn't hit its target.
Ball barely,
Saved, but Eccles will pick it
Doesn't
up,
matter.
and that'll give Rockhurst their man-up possession.
Man up, Pembroke.
One thing you got to say about Pembroke right now is that no matter what Rockhurst has been throwing at them, as many goals as they score, they're not giving up. Pembroke is not.
they're fighting back.
Absolutely.
Illegal body check,
They have
1 minute.
nothing to be ashamed about in this game. They are giving it their everything, every possession.
And they can score quick. I mean, if anyone can come back, it's Pembroke. They had
Yep.
2 goals in 1.5 minutes after that rain delay the first time. I
Yep.
think
3 goals is not a lot when you can get it on a run. So they'll look to start that run right here on man up. They spin the ball around the perimeter again, getting the ball down to X, looking for a skip pass on the crease, shot, scores!
There's a goal.
And that's what they needed.
A
Jack
quick
Staker,
goal.
another assist from X.
Exactly what they wanted right there is a quick goal.
That is the third goal they've scored on man up, and that pass has come from below GLE or right behind the net or right next to it, finding either skip pass or right there, shot right on the crease, as you can see from our instant replay. Spinning the ball around X, or spin the ball around the perimeter, gets the ball right behind the net, little fake pass right there, crease, and low and away. That's a good bury right there.
Staker is just cutting up the defense, either with his passing or his just ability to dodge. This is a huge face-off right here for Pembroke.
Great
And looks
back-
like, oh, Tommy Eccles moved up. So we got 2 first-teamers on the wing, 2 first-team D-poles, one with the All-American, one the close D.
So Pembroke cuts the lead to 2 for Rockhurst. There's 3.5 minutes left. Face-off won
And
by
Tommy
Rockhurst.
Eccles wins it.
Who else? As he pushes to the cage, swarmed by
Ball
Pembroke.
checked
He
out.
still has the
He's
ball.
fixing up. Nope.
Wow, missed opportunity right there for Pembroke to pick up the ground ball and bring it onto the offensive end. And
You got to press right now, especially if you have to see a D-pole with the ball.
Eccles lost the ball there, but almost picked it back up right on the crease. Could have had a great scoring opportunity to pretty much bury it, but
ooh, as a Pembroke player stick breaks, it's 6-on-5. Back behind the back shot just goes
Bold
wide
shot by
Crosby.
Gasaway. Bold shot.
Let's see if that comes back to haunt him.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. You got to respect it.
Double team right here by Pembroke as Crosby sticks with
leaves
the
a
ball,
man
makes the
open.
pass.
Knowlton. He gets covered.
Now, if you're Rockers right here, you want to hold the ball, and your goal should be to get a
Oh! And one! Max Terrell with the finish.
The assist from number 16, Michael Knowlton, with a flag down.
That's a huge goal.
And Rockers, just like that, bumps the lead back up to 3. As Pembroke is pressing out right here. And you can see Knowlton just beats his man, finds the man on the crease, catches it. Great shot. Had his back to the cage out initially, catches it and turns his body with its momentum and finds the net.
I think the biggest difference we've seen tonight is just Rockhurst is always settled, always in control. They've had a couple penalties, but mostly it's just been calm, cool, and collected no matter what Pembroke throws at them. Even in that, the double team came, moved the ball quick, put it on the crease, and scored.
So if I'm Rockhurst right here and I get the ball back on offense, I am looking to get a stall warning. Hold the ball until the refs force you to stay within the box, correct?
I believe it might be at 2 minutes if they're up.
Okay.
They might lock it in at 2 minutes.
Yes, you're right.
Mielbeck with the win on the faceoff, and he's just going to go right out. You got to be pressing this ball if you're Pembroke.
Ooh.
As he splits a couple of Pembroke guys.
Loses his stick. That's an opportunity for Pembroke right there.
Staker with the
Staker's
ball.
with Eccles trailing him.
Shot, oh, just wide, and Pembroke will regain possession from X. As the ref will give the goalie time to get back in the cage. Pembroke pusher from X, finds a guy backside, looks to shoot, score,
Peter
bounce
Brewer with the
shot.
score.
Woo!
This
Two
game's
goal-
not over yet, baby.
no,
not
no.
over yet. Woohoo!
They're not going down without a fight.
2 minutes left, down 2 goals. Rockers up 10-8, and this is still a game.
Extremely important face-off here for Pembroke. They have to win this one if they want to have a chance to take their team into the LAKC championship game.
The way Pembroke was playing on that last defensive possession, it felt like there was way less time than 2 minutes. But 2 minutes, that's the way Pembroke can score. It's just awesome. And I think Reedy's going to, Rockhurst timeout.
Yep. We know they're capable. We know they can do it. It's just a matter of executing at this point.
Shout out my mom. She just brought me dinner.
So with 2 minutes left and Rockers up 2 goals, Coach Reed's going to bring in his players as well as Coach Colbert for Pembroke. as well as the teams for the second game. Shawnee Mission East and Northland are making their way out to the field, and they will watch the last few minutes of this game. And who knows, it could be longer. They could be watching for a few more minutes if Pembroke comes back.
A little overtime?
A little overtime. You never know.
Overtime.
You never know.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. I would like a little overtime.
And well, hey, but with the rhythm of the game, it's been, Rockhurst has been up 3 for the last good portion of this half, and it's been Rockhurst goal, Pembroke. Rockhurst has been fighting back and forth, back and forth. So Pembroke needs to find a way to put in 2 goals, 2 unanswered goals. In order to force an OT, but they're certainly more than capable if you get a view of the fans here at UMKC and the students cheering on their fellow friends and students.
They seem to like their phones in the crowd.
Hey, speaking of dinner, Rob, don't you owe me a slice of pizza?
Yeah, I'll get you one.
All
I'll
right.
get you a slice.
I just didn't want you to forget before the
Huge
next game.
face-off
Wait.
coming up right here.
Yeah, pineapple or no pineapple on pizza?
Are you kidding me right now?
I don't know what that means.
Never in my life.
Jack, pineapple on pizza or no? No.
No,
Absolutely
no.
not. As we are 2 minutes left in this game. Rockhurst up 10-8. As a big face-off comes up. The fans are losing their minds.
Here we go. I love that matchup on the wing. Tommy Eccles versus Quinn Brandmeier. Quinn Brandmeier come into Manhattan. Going to Manhattan to play his lacrosse next summer or next fall and spring.
The fans are losing their mind here at Durwood Stadium.
The stadium's rocking.
The booth's shaking up here. Face-off happens. One behind Pembroke player. And ball still on the ground. Pembroke looks to get it.
Pembroke
and they
has
will
the
pick
ball,
it
but
up.
Eccles trailing.
Ooh, errant pass, though. And Rockhurst looks like they can pick it up, and they do. And Pembroke's going to need to ride hard here. Maybe bring out a 10-man if they can with the goalie. And Rockhurst will just chuck the
They'll
ball
send
down,
it.
hope for the best.
Send
And
it!
And it will be out of bounds.
That's going to be Pembroke with the clear.
Interesting play, but
Bold move, Cotton.
bleed a little bit of time.
Rockhurst is just daring Pembroke to beat him with their ride. Rockhurst needs to ride the ball. And another errant pass by Pembroke
Poor
on the
bounce.
clear.
You got to press this ball immediately once it comes out.
127 to go.
Let's look to see when the Pembroke goaltender can get out of the cage and be an extra defender there. As Pembroke rides hard, but Rockhurst get the ball over midline as the player
Ball
drops
is
it.
dropped.
Pembroke picks it up, puts the ball over midline.
Staker gets
That's going to be a
pushed by
flag. That's got to
Eccles.
be a flag.
Flag down, push in the back.
That's going to be
Oh!
we got a little bit
You
of
can't do
action here
that.
in
As Eccles and the
midfield.
players look like they're getting into it.
More flags down.
I
And you
tell
just
you
hate
what,
to see that.
that's detrimental for Pembroke because what just happened there is Eccles got the penalty. That's Rocker's best defender, so they were going to be down their best guy, and now it's going to be a little bit of a different story here.
Yeah, we could be looking at a 5v5, and since that whatever penalty is going to be coming up from Pembroke, if it is a dead ball, the Rockers could end up with the ball here.
God.
Possibly.
I know there's a lot of emotion, but you just hate to see that happen
Yeah,
in such a good game.
Have to keep
Absolutely.
level-headed here, especially late in a game like this.
And the refs are going to take their time, make sure they get the call right from how crucial this call is.
We're going to see at least 3 penalties here, you have to assume.
The biggest thing is going to be who gets possession, I believe.
Yeah.
Because Pembroke's going to be pushing no matter what, but if they don't get the ball, it's a tough call. Here you see Colbert and Reedy coming in. Oh, they're going to call Eccles. So it's going to be
That initial push on Staker. And Pembroke ball.
No, Eccles looks like he's not.
No?
Oh, no, he's
he
coming
is,
off
he
the
he's
is.
field.
in, he's out.
He was that
he's
first,
in.
Yeah,
He's
he was
out?
that first flag which started the whole scrum, so
So I think.
So, yeah,
this-
Rockhurst is down
They
Does it
got
look like they're down 2 men?
5v4?
Or not? He's in, he's
6v4.
out.
Simon,
He's in, he's out.
Simon Williams is very confused right
6
now.
on 5.
As are we
Pembroke
in the
ball.
booth.
I'm confused up here, too.
Looks like a 6 on 5 down there.
So Pembroke is up. Man up with 1:08 seconds left.
Oh, huge
They're
play.
going to want to try and
Season's
find that
riding
skip
on
pass
this.
early.
Fake pass.
He got me with the fake.
Mm-hmm.
They spin the ball around the perimeter. Ooh, pass down low at the feet. Rockhurst play on, I think, by the ref here, and it's
Yeah,
going to be a
that's
push on
gonna be
Pembroke. It's going to be Rockhurst ball.
Rockhurst ball. Still man down, but they will have possession. We're probably going to see a double here from Pembroke to start
50
this
seconds
possession.
left.
Mm-hmm.
So Rockhurst will start with the ball on their own side. As the attack
Oh!
ride
Down.
hard.
The ball's
And
loose.
Pembroke will get the possession back as Rockhurst is playing them pretty hard for being man down, pressuring them as Pembroke still manages to
Retains
find a way to get the
possession.
ball, pushing to the middle, passing behind himself.
Staker with the ball.
Shot.
Oh!
Save!
What a save by Kuklinski!
Standing on his head. Kuklinski makes a huge save. We got a player appears to be injured, number 19.
Carter Elder.
My heart is pounding right
Oh
now.
my goodness. So a throwback right here across his body down. And it just
What a save off the thigh of Kuklinski.
Time and place for the goalie right there. That's excellent.
So as Carter walks off the field, Pembroke will be starting with the ball with 29 seconds left.
Down 2 goals here late in the 4th.
And you got to push here. You got to push. You got to try and score here in the first 10 seconds if you want any
Immediately.
hope of pushing into an overtime.
I'm very surprised Staker didn't start with the ball.
Shot wide. And Pembroke will get the ball on the end line.
You got to press. 20 seconds left.
You got to go hard here. You got to go quickly. Rockhurst playing phenomenal defense here.
Drop pass.
Oh, drop pass. 10 seconds left to go in this 4th quarter. And it looks like this
Rockhurst
will
is-
be it for Pembroke.
I think that may be the game right
Ball
there.
goes out of bounds
And that
with
is going to
3
be the game.
seconds.
Rockhurst is going to win.
As the clock expires, the goalie chucks the ball down, and Rockhurst will be advancing to the LAKC Finals and Championship. Okay. What a game, Pat. What an absolute game.
I'll
And you
tell
know
you
what?
Go ahead.
You can't take anything away from Pembroke. They played their hearts out. They did
Absolutely.
a phenomenal job, and they fought back the entire game. It was, it was close. Rockhurst had their runs in the first quarter and the third, and they built a little bit of a lead, but Pembroke was fighting back the entire game.
Absolutely. There's nothing to be ashamed about for this loss from Pembroke. They played their heart out the entire game. They kept it close. They never gave up. It just didn't go the way they wanted to.